Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on when you are watching this video. Okay, so today, first of all, please do not mind my headgear, which includes my headphones. It's because even though you can't hear it very well, it's quite windy today. So I just want to make sure that the audio that you guys get, it's quite nice and clean. And in case you haven't figured it out where we're at today, so in today's episode, basically, we are at the University of Cape Town. So this is basically the one place that I think I've spent most of my time in Cape Town more than anywhere else for the past, I think, 14 to 15 years. So basically, every time actually you search on Google or anything about typing in University of Cape Town, this is probably the picture that you see. Basically, that's the Sarah Baartman Hall. So for those actually who've walked these walls or basically who've been here before, you'd know basically we are at what we call the Plaza. So basically, this is going to be a three-part video where the part one of this video, we're going to be covering campus, Upper Campus. So basically, what I can promise you by the end of this three-part series is that you'd learn something you probably knew about UCT, something that you didn't know, and you're also going to get a full tour basically of what the campuses all look like at UCT. So let's actually do a little bit of history. Where did UCT start? So UCT actually started basically as part of the South African college schools all the way back in 1829. Then they moved by the 1900s actually to what we call hidden campus today, which is right here of this picture. And then from 1928, this is actually when they officially moved to this current location. And the nice thing, actually, the advantage of this location is the fact that not just it's okay. See the wind there; it's picking up. Yeah, the advantage actually of this location is that it's not just actually it's perked basically in the mountains. It's the fact that it actually can be seen almost from anywhere. So if you are coming from the airport, literally this is also the first place that you can see when you're looking on the mountain. Also, when you're driving around Cape Town, especially at the back side of what you call Devil's Peak, which can be seen. Hopefully, you can see it right behind me, right there. Basically, this is the campus that you can see. So, starting actually with the hall itself. So the hall was actually constructed and finished the construction in the early 40s. And originally, actually, the hall did not belong to the University of Cape Town, which is literally the same thing for most universities, including our sister university, Wits in Johannesburg. So the hall actually belonged to the community of Rondebosch. And then eventually they gave the hall back to the university. As part of its ownership. So basically what happens inside that hall, many of our prestigious events are actually held in there. This means it's heads of states who are coming to present, doing talks. And I mean, the biggest recent one is basically in 2013 with Barack Obama, and former president actually of Chile, Michelle Bachelet, was also here. And also it's used for graduation ceremonies and also big events basically on campus, whether they're organized by the university itself or external people. So that's basically the hall. And then again, another interesting fact about the hall is actually the fact that even though it looks like it's complete, it's actually incomplete, and it's been like that since its beginning, because originally it was supposed to have a glass dome and it doesn't. They just covered it up and then they just left it like that. So yeah, that's basically the hall. And yeah, I'm going to show you actually some pictures of what it looks like inside. So the date is one Sunday, 18th of April, 2021, where basically a runaway fire basically ravaged through basically the mountain area behind us, which is just behind the hole there. So most of the time, almost every year or every 2 years, there's always like a big fire that will be going around basically campus. going around the mountain. But so far, fire will never basically come this side until that day, where basically the fire kind of ravaged the basically not actually because contrary to popular belief, actually no building actually at Upper Campus burned down completely. Even though the Jagger Library actually inside, it's actually still hollow, it's gutted. And unfortunately that day I was right here, and I'm going to show you basically a snippet of the experience of that day, how it was. I'm at Upper Campus. I don't even know what to say, but so far the damage is not extent. That's full of hole right there, and as you can see, like literally it's scorched. So look at spots. That's how the grass and trees used to be. And if you watch this side, so the beams have melted, and like even all the way down to from Centlivres Beit all the way, as you can see, there's still like some smoke on the floor, and it smells like, I don't know, I've never been experienced a wildfire before. I've seen it because if you stay in Cape Town you see the mountain, but who would have thought that it would actually reach Upper Campus. See, there you go. Still scorching. Moving up. Oh, we lost the clock on the stairs. Oh, something is burning. Oh, okay. That's Sarah Baartman Hall. But around Menzies and the library. Looks like the library's on fire. Hopefully it's just the roof and not the special collection side. There's a fire truck. Shit. Oh, crap. Man. R.W. James. Okay. There's also stuff going on that side. This is the Plaza. So, I'm going to walk around a bit. On this side to see what's up. So see, there's something going on by R.W. James side. I'm at the University Avenue right now, and I don't know how to. And now the after effects of fire is the fact that you okay, I can hear there's alarms. Okay, that's much better. There's fire alarms going off. And I'm going to turn the camera around just to see how University Elevation looks like. There you go. Okay, so there's nothing really much this side. Let me walk towards there by this Rhodes Building, and there is a fire alarm going on at the Special Collections Library. So as you can see, how bad, and also the confusion of the fire at the time, it was quite devastating. Not only actually University of Cape Town was affected, even houses and other property actually around the Rondebosch area, and also including the Rhodes Memorial restaurant actually, which also burnt down completely. It was actually one of the buildings that were affected on that day. But what was quite interesting also was actually how the support that the university actually quite received from all over the world and from other libraries. And the nice thing about it is that the university actually had already started digitizing most of the material that they have. So what happened was the fact that actually the stuff actually that burned was actually all the original files. And the most ironic part was also the stuff actually that was damaged was actually not damaged by the fire. Yeah, the fire did actually damage some of the stuff, but it was actually not the fire that did most of the damage. It was actually the water that did the damage. Reason being was because on the day they were using actually helicopters to actually douse the fire because so many other places were, because it was all smoky, you could barely see basically what was on fire and what was not on fire. So even though, because of actually the campus is built on a slope, what happened is that even though you literally on the ground floor here, there's about 2 to 3 floors below. So that's almost every building that you actually see here. It has basements. I'm actually going to show you now with AC Jordan know what I'm talking about. So what happened was that as they were dousing the fire, most of the actually the the most important files, historical, and those literally you can't find anyway, were actually stored in the basement. So what happened is that with the water now started drowning. So what they realized is that actually a day or two after actually they finished dousing the fire was the fact that now there was this water that was just damming there, and then it was literally damaging quite most of the stuff around campus. So now the race was to actually try and to get all the stuff out of the library to be restored. And thank God actually for the volunteers who actually came out, and they all assisted, to try and move the stuff. And also we got literally experts from around the world coming in to actually assist with the recovery. So they managed actually to get most of the stuff into a secure storage, even to this day where they're still storing it. When it comes actually to video materials, that we noticed actually also that the university has a lot of historical video material, which was still in cassettes and tapes, that was actually also stored at the Jagger Library. Whoops. That's actually my recorder, my audio recorder falling there, which is painful because it's expensive. Yeah. But what happens is that actually there's quite a lot of video material tape that they actually noticed, but now that also gave the opportunity for the university to actually start digitizing and recovering most of the material. So most of the video material actually was recovered during that time, which actually, that's the good thing that actually came about. So if you might wonder what's inside the hole now, the hole is actually still hollow inside because it's still burnt, and what the engineers did actually was just to brace the structure of the building so that at least now it's safe and it's still standing. So they also did cover the roof so that now rainwater won't create any more damage inside the space. So you might wonder then what they're going to do with the space. So that's why now there have been talks actually that started all the way from last year, basically on how to imagine this space, for the future. So basically, together we at UCT is a campaign called UCT Day that started basically all the way back last year in 2003, where we had the first edition of the UCT Day. So you might ask yourself, what is UCT Day? So UCT Day, basically, it's the one day where, whether you're staff, students, you're a UCT friend, you're a donor, whether you have association or not at UCT, basically what we do is that we invite you, you come on campus, and everything comes to a standstill, and people, all what they do is you come here, and it was all just a fun day, basically, where everyone come together. And funny enough is that most of the people actually that came last year is that you met people that you haven't seen in years. Even some of the staff and students actually who are on campus didn't even know, haven't seen each other in a while, and that day they managed to have fun. So this year's edition basically also includes a fundraising component in it, because obviously there must be something that we can do to help each other out, especially for students. So there are actually two programs that this year's UCT Day will be working towards. The first one basically is the Food Sovereignty Fund. Basically, as students, I was also a student myself, and sometimes I've experienced this, but fortunately for me I was in a catering race. But there are times where students, not only at UCT, every other basically university, where there's no food for them to eat. Some of them, though they do get stipends, what do is that, because obviously they know the situation at home is also tough, they'll literally send all that money back at home, and then they end up starving. And if you can try and imagine trying to study or do something while you're starving, it's not nice. It's also quite detrimental, basically, to anyone's progress, basically, in university. So what the UCT Food Sovereignty Fund is trying to actually try and achieve that and eliminate basically that. This is actually a program that was started by the Department of Student Affairs here at UCT in conjunction with the Development and Alumni Department. So basically, if you are able to actually to support this program in any way, how, it doesn't matter the amount. If you have millions, please bring them. If you have $10, please, that's also welcome, as long as you contribute. And on the 4th, basically, of October, we all gonna be at the Cricket Oval here at UCT. If you don't know where the Cricket Oval, if you know where the Woolsack residence is, it's literally just behind it. So again, it's not limited also to people on campus. It doesn't matter where you're at. You could be anywhere around the world. All you have to do on the 4th of October, please wear something blue, something that says UCT, and and be part of the fun. And then again, the second project actually that's also there, that's also going to be basically supported on the day. Basically, Star. What's the second project then? Food Sovereignty Fund and what? Food program end? Oh. And the second project actually that's going to be supported by this program is called Unlocking Futures Bursaries. So again, when it comes to students, there's that thing where some students are able to finish, they pass in flying colours, but unfortunately they still owe a little bit of money or huge amounts to the university, and they cannot continue. So obviously universities are like just any other institution. Also, they do need funds in order to to operate. So this is basically also where then we also need your assistance whenever you can. Again, the amounts do not matter. It doesn't matter whether you have $10, because think about it. How much does a coffee cost? Usually $40 or $50. So how about if you can give up maybe one coffee per month, 50 Rand, and then you might say, oh, what will my 50 Rand do? But think about it. If there's 10,000 of you giving 50 Rand a month, see, Okay, I'll do the math here so that you can actually get the amounts basically that you can be able to assist all other students. So that's basically what UCT Day will be fundraising for. So some of actually UCT alumni will be receiving calls from the Department of Alumni. So yeah, please pick up those calls. It's going to be fun calls. You're going to be called by some UCT students. So the interesting thing that actually, whether it's students or staff or even some alumni actually that they don't know about, is actually there's this plaque which is actually right here on Plaza. This actually depicts actually how the original university was supposed to look like. So if you zoom in, oh oops, okay, now I'm wired, so I need to come with my, so if you zoom in right here, actually this is what the original map used to look like. You'll see there was supposed to be a glass dome there like Oxford, but that never happened. Why? Because again, when James Solomon designed the buildings in the 1918s, they thought there was all this money in the world, but the money never actually came. So they just put a temporary roof that's been there since the 1940s, and literally that's how the whole remained ever since. And then you'll also look, yeah, this is actually the top view of how the campus used to look like. So you'll see here, these are the only two residences that are at Upper Campus. So you have the Fuller Hall and you have the Upper Campus Residence, also formerly known as Smuts Hall. Then you have the AC Jordan Building, which is the one right here. And then you have the Jagger Library right there. And then you have the Sarah Baartman Hall right there. And then you have the Otto Building, which is also right there. Arts Block, Menzies Building right there, and then obviously the Upper Campus Residence, which is also here. And then here, this is actually where the Green Mile, basically UCT's famous rugby fields are situated. And then here we have the summer house, and then here this is actually where we have the tunnel currently today. So this is actually what it used to be called before, the what's called the Grooteskuur campus. So what you'll find also at Upper Campus is actually the main UCT Chancellor Oppenheimer Library. Oh, it's loud in here. This is actually where the Chancellor Oppenheimer Library is situated. This is actually UCT's main library. Let me turn the camera around so you can see me. Yeah, so this is basically where every student you get to kinda a place that you have to visit at least once in a lifetime while you're at UCT. Oh, and right behind me here, actually, we have the Molly Blackburn foyer. So every student, actually, this is one place you definitely know about it. If you're a UCT alum and you're graduating, you have to come sit here to sign your forms for graduation and all that. And right behind me here, believe it or not, I don't know how long that guy's been here, but Mr. Edgars, if you can hear me, if you can hear my through this whole Akon sound. Mr. what we used to call him, Mr. Edgars. He's still here actually, but because it's weekend by the time I'm recording this video, he's not right here. So this is basically where you can buy like school bags and all those things. There's actually a guy that used to sell, by the time I was a student here, textbooks. He used to be situated here, but yeah, he's no longer here now. So now we're going to be moving towards the food court. And so, welcome to the Cissie Plaza, basically the food court. And it actually is one of my greatest views of Devil's Peak. It's all through these stairs, and how I remember these stairs because I used to climb them every single day as a student to get to that building there on top, the Environmental and Geographic Sciences building. And here is the Cissie Plaza. It's one of UCT's food courts. Basically, Cissie actually was one of the first. She was actually the first ever woman of color to receive her master's at the University of Cape Town. And right inside here, actually, this is what we call the Steve Biko building. So we have the UCT store right on the left-hand side. And then here we have the food court area, where if you're a student at UCT, you've bought a bag here, you've literally sat here all the time, or you've walked through here to try and get to the elevator or the lift from here all the way to the student, basically 6th floor of this building. Oh yeah, again, speaking of floors, where we're actually on the 3rd floor of this building. So 3rd floor, get to the 6th floor to get to the top. And this is basically what we think the ground floor. So here, this is where you find all the guys who are playing dominoes, and you meet up with your friends. Right there, we have the Student Orientation and Advocacy Center. This is where actually I spend most of my time as a student at the orientation office. This is where everything started. This is actually one of the most important offices for any student or prospective student at UCT for referrals if you need anything. And here, also, this is also the Computer Science Building. What we have here, it's also where the UCT radio is situated. So if you want to become, a famous radio DJ one day, this is basically where your career will start. And most of other career, big names started actually right here at UCT Radio. And this is also where UCT ICTS at Upper Campus is situated. And then that nice building right there, actually, this is called the Hahn Building. So, Hahn Building actually is named after one of UCT's first chemistry lectures, actually, called Paul Danin Hahn. So basically, it's a complex of buildings where now UCT's chemistry is currently based, and physics department. So part of it is here, and another one is at R.W. James. So basically, this is one of the buildings actually that you might actually be studying at UCT. So there's lecture theatres inside, and also this is where the science faculty is also situated. And then you also have the John Day Zoology Building right here. So another fun fact that most people don't know about it, especially on a rainy day. So if you're at University Avenue, so currently where we're at now, this is basically what we called the Library Avenue. So in case you didn't know, another caveat actually is that right here, there's actually a tunnel that takes you underneath the zoology building all the way out to the other side towards the Chris Hani building. So people might say, Chris Hani building. Okay, so to those who don't know, the new science lecture theatre was actually renamed the Chris Hani building. That's actually been revamped. It looks great. It's a very modern study structure, and here's basically the foyer of Hahn Building. To those who've walked here, this is basically just, I'm sure, hopefully this is bringing back the memories. Come on, switch. Yeah. And then this is where basically also part of also still the Hahn Building complex. And then this is where the NSLT used to be situated, now called the Chris Hani Building. As I said, the spaces has been revamped, and I'm going to be showing you now the pictures of how basically it looks inside. So one of the things actually that the good things that actually came out of the UCT fire was the fact that actually there was quite a lot of alien trees that were planted here, which were actually using quite a lot of extensive water. So during that fire, that's actually also what brought the fire back down to campus. So they were basically chopped down, and that's why today you can actually even see the Rhodes Mem right there. But what I wanted to show you here is that, I don't know, if you don't know about this, then I have no idea. If you didn't know that UCT has a dam, which is actually quite full now because it's been raining a lot this winter, and there's a girl nearly fell there. They tried to get to the UCT Dam. So basically this dam, you cannot actually swim in it because there's crocs in it. I'm joking, there's no crocs in there, but you're not allowed to swim. This is actually dam. This is actually, one thing actually I forgot to tell you about it is that the University of Cape Town is actually inside or situated within the Table Mountain National Park. So this dam is actually it's used mostly when there's a fire around campus. Basically this is where the helicopters will basically come and pick up water to put out the fires. Also during the UCT fire, this is actually one of the dams that was used. And trust me, if there's fire and there's those Huey helicopters, you can't hear a thing. You can't even concentrate if you're in class because they're so loud. And it becomes a spectacle because almost all the students will come and congregate here to watch, those helicopters going around. And then here's another view of Devil's Peak. So this is a building actually about one of the most underrated scientists to have blessed the University of Cape Town with his skills. R.W. James, basically who some of his students who are also UCT alumni are actually Nobel Peace Prize laureates. So even though he was a brilliant physics lecturer, he actually did a stint also as a UCT interim vice chancellor at the University of Cape Town. Is that if you actually ever have time or you love history, he was actually in the on the Shackleton expedition. That was who was trying to get to Antarctica using their the ship called Endurance, and then the ship got trapped and then it sank, and then basically it's still called one of the greatest survival tales of how no one died for months after being lost in the Southern Ocean. And here, this is also behind me. It's actually where the biochemistry building is situated. And then this is actually the front of the Hani Building, formerly known as the New Science Lecture Theatre. You'll see actually here, I'm glad actually they kept this, because not many people actually knew about it unless you were here in the early 50s and 40s. You'll be wondering, what is all this mechanism for that's out here displayed, those gears and everything. So basically, if you remember how the old lecture theatre used to look, there used to be a semicircle, almost like this one, which was right in front. So basically, because it was a physics, a lecture theatre, so one lecturer will set up all their apparatus and experiments behind, and then when one lecture was finished, they will actually just rotate the the stage so that you can reveal the other lecture on the other side. That was actually one of the coolest things then in the 1940s and 50s. But then they removed that. So this actually used to be the driver for that. They've kept this all here. And then we have the Botanical Building basically here, which is actually the second building that was also affected by the fire. As you'll see, the roof is still gone. And so some of actually the most rare plant seeds, some of them were lost, but most of them were actually saved. So as you can see, the top floor is still quite hollow. Okay, and then if you remember, I was telling you about a tunnel. So that tunnel will actually bring you right here. So if you're taking a shuttle through here, you're going to the food court, here's a tunnel through right here, all the way up. And then here, we also have, basically on my right-hand side, this is actually what the building, this is basically where the study of ornithology is actually situated at UCT. And literally, it's the only building, basically where they call it the Fixtitude, where basically it's one of actually of the few studies of birds and or basically what's called ornithology in the southern hemisphere. That's basically where it's situated. And then also this is still part of the John Day's Zoology Building. There's more lecture theatres which are situated just at the bottom right here. So here that's the HWPSN Botanical Building. So if you did botany at UCT, if you want to study botany, this is basically where you'll be situated. Oh, sorry, yes, I was making made a mistake there. So the Fixtitude is not there, it's actually right here. The Fitzpatrick of African Ornithology, which is the study of birds, basically. Where I think it's actually the only one, if only one of the two, in the whole of the southern hemisphere. This is actually a very nice video for me, and believe it or not, my hands are freezing. It's cold today, but anyway, I'm actually very passionate about this place because I think this is the one place where I've spent most of my time while I've been staying in Cape Town for the past 15 years now, I think. 14, 15 years. And then here, also one of the original buildings. This is actually the Computer Science Building. this is actually some of the brilliant minds of UCT came through. Another one that I can actually think of is Mark Shuttleworth. Basically the only African who's been to space in the International Space Station came through this building. And this is also, basically where all the geniuses of computer science actually situated. So if you are a prospective student or a prospective parent, this is where you can bring your student. And right there is the Maths Building, which is also part of the original buildings that are actually situated here. And if you're graduating, you'll know this building because it's where some of your graduation pictures will be taken. And then right now, we're going to be moving down the stairs towards the residences, so you can see basically what is it about. But I just wanted to show you also again the Otto Building. This is where the student unions used to be situated before they moved to Steve Biko Building. And actually this is also where the Blackburn Hall is actually situated just above. And then there's also this room up here. I actually did a short film. I shot in this room, and so again I'll tell you more about what the hall. But basically this is also the holding room for all the VIPs that come to UCT, including heads of states. Barack Obama was also in this room right here as a holding room. But anyway, we'll go inside. Oh, another thing that I've told you, the original buildings at UCT, they're all part of the national monuments. So it's for any buildings which are over the age of 100 years. Also, as you can see, who's the architect? It's J.M. Solomon right there. So just going to go inside so you can see a little bit of how it looks like. Oh, I like the new yellow. Yeah, so basically it's just bathrooms here, and then there's also a lift to go up right there. Whew, it feels good to be here because it's cold outside. Oh yeah, one thing is that all the doors here are still like original wooden doors with brass handles. Still cool. That's what you find actually with the original buildings. So now that we've actually touched on your right hand side of campus and my left hand side of campus, we're going to be touching on the second half basically of campus. And again, thanks to the power of editing, the weather has cleared and it's less windy and it's less bulky, hence now I don't have my bunny ears. But as we continue on this side, we look back again as to where the Jagger Library is actually situated. Here behind me you will see there's actually stairs going up. So actually below those stairs, actually that's where the storage basically compartments are actually situated. So there's like about 2 to 3 floors below ground. That's also where the flooding happened. Then if you look actually on this side, this is the AC Jordan building. Turn the camera this way so you can actually see. So basically the AC Jordan building, formerly known as Arts Block, it's actually the building where, for an example, it's also part of the humanities faculty. So woo, this is when I need water, but it's fine. Anyway, this is also where, for an example, the UCT Film Department and English languages, especially English, is actually situated. Basically, and also again the African and Gender Studies, they're also situated here, and Anthropology. And so it's also one of those classic looking like buildings with an ivy. And actually, I think the first time I actually ever saw set on campus for Hollywood, I think it was for a Hollywood movie. They did a western. It was actually shot here in this building where they had temporary shutters here, and then there were horse carriages all around this area here. It was, I think I can find that. If I can find that picture, I'll actually include it. And then moving along, we see here the electrical and engineering building, electrical and mechanical engineering building, which is also actually one of the original buildings actually here, basically on the University Avenue. And yeah, like that. Okay, another thing actually I didn't talk about is that everything at UCT, it's actually almost color coded. So when you see anything green, that means it's actually for it's for engineering, so environmental and built and engineering and built environment. That's actually what it's actually called. And then if you see anything with a blue background, that's also for humanities. Anything yellow, that's actually for the commerce faculty. And then anything red, that's for health sciences. And then anything which is purple, that's for the science faculty. I actually want to show you one of the coolest places actually that's often missed about AC Jordan building. It's actually what's the area behind where most students don't know about it. So if also there is actually a walkway from the AC Jordan all the way to the Beattie Building on the other side, which is also another home of humanities. But what I wanted to show you, case to you, is actually the backside that people hardly ever see. And then the building just right in front of us, that's Villa Residence, we're going to touch on later on. But it's this area here, the back of this building. Beautiful, the European style type of design. So if you're actually on the other side of the building, that's actually where the ground floor is. And then this will be below, but there's also other floors below, because in case you didn't know, we're still way up high. It's like another 4 to 5 meters actually to the ground where the cars are. Yeah, so this is basically the space that is behind. I see they've removed some of the ivies. And then again, these buildings are unpainted. This is concrete right there. And then this is the Fuller Hall residence right here. One of the original residences also Upper Campus. So it's Fuller Hall, and then that's right there. Even the railings here, literally, they're all rusted iron railings from literally in the 1920s when they actually built this building. And then next one actually right up here, which is actually kind of resembles. So this one actually, if you look at it, it's more of like the old European style, early 1900s kind of design. And then if you look here, this is actually more of the, like the many windows, straight rectangular windows, 1960s design of like of buildings actually that you look around, because that's also around where the Beattie Building. So again, the names behind some of these buildings, starting with AC Jordan. Sorry if I'm huffing and puffing because I'm climbing upstairs. AC Jordan actually was one of UCT's first lecturers, black lecturers actually, who taught at the University of Cape Town, who's also actually the father of Paulo Jordan, one of South Africa's politicians. So we're back now at the University Avenue, and this is Beattie Building, which is actually the home of humanities at UCT. So again, we seem to be walking in the what you call above ground, but yeah, right there, this is actually where the humanities computer lab is situated. And again, almost all the faculties, except for the ones I've mentioned, and politics, are situated here. This includes other languages. For example, I think German is one of those languages that are actually situated here. And then all the admin offices of UCT are situated there. Then, before coming, okay, see, I'm so excited, I want to show you everything. But yeah, that side, it's like another cool stairs towards Menzies Building. So that's there where the electrical and mechanical engineering ends. And then that's the geological science building there, also looking nice and cool. But the star of the show for now is Beattie Building. So Beattie Building actually, it's named after UCT's first Vice Chancellor. I think also one of the longest serving. Caratha's Beattie, who's also happened to be buried around here on campus. So he's actually the only one person who requested to be buried here. And also, the most another funny thing about it actually is that even though this building is named after him, he was actually a science lecturer than he was a humanities lecturer. So what the building includes inside, actually, it's actually one of UCT's biggest lecture theatre is also situated here on the ground floor. Again, as I mentioned, that is also a massive computer lab that we can actually also find situated also at the bottom. This is actually one of the buildings actually that for me was, as a student, was home. Yeah, just want to actually walk in. Hopefully the dynamic ranges won't be that bad so that you can actually see what the building looks like. It has changed quite a bit. See, like it's all nice and colourful as and then when I was a student it was so stressful. So this is where you'll find the humanities undergraduate reception, and then the departments are actually situated all the way upstairs. So yeah, oh, they've even updated the elevators, or what you call the lift. So now if you go down here, oh yes, it is actually quite open. I'm not going to speak because there's a lecture going on. So, but so as you can see at the lecture theatre there, they're actually writing exams. So remember I showed you from AC Jordan, there is a walkway. It actually goes through that door from AC Jordan through here, Beattie Building. So this is where actually the first ever lecture theatre that I used was the Beattie Lecture Theatre. If I remember well, I think it's a 400 seater auditorium. Which is quite massive, and it used to get filled to the brim. And then with the Bessie Head computer lab, also used to a space that I spent quite a lot of time. And then the Humanities Student Council office is actually situated here, and then the film department studios are also right in the basement. So now we're gonna climb upstairs because we went down back to ground level, if you say so. Okay, so now we're back up. Now that you've seen a bit of what Beattie Building looks like, the next building is actually the Geological Sciences Building, which for me is also home because first year and a bit I did actually quite a bit of basic geology. Woo. Dynamic range, you can't see me because the background, which is why they actually have this nice thing. This is a basalt, volcanic rock that they left behind, and then when you walk in, actually there's a table full of like nice rare gemstones, literally just to showcase to you what the Geological Science Building is. And one thing actually that is included right at the back, it looks very insignificant, but it's quite big when it comes to UCT. So that part of the brown building, which is up there now undergoing some maintenance. Oh, there's some aircon fans going on here. So basically, if I turn the camera, that is actually referred to the Louis Ahrens wing, which is actually situated in that building right over there, which looks also quite oldish, with the old 1950s and 60s design. Now you might be asking what's big or relevant about that building. Louis Ahrens was actually one of UCT's best ever, geologists at the time. And what makes it so nice and unique was the fact that UCT was actually the first institution outside of North America to receive the moon rock samples from the July 1969 first moon landing of Apollo 11. So these rocks were there. They're no longer there though. They did remove them. And then we have behind us the Leslie Complex building. So if you were at UCT, except if you were like in med school, but if you had any other faculty, chances are you've been inside this building. Here it's called the Social Building, Leslie Social Building. And then right behind it we have the Leslie Social Leslie Commerce. This building is named after Professor Robert Leslie, who was the lecturer of economics here at UCT. And then behind it, we do have the Menzies, and then the Menzies Building, and then why am I forgetting the other name now? I remember when I get there anyway. But continuing on University Avenue, this is the whole front. It's actually quite funny now that the ivy is gone. The buildings look bare and a bit boring. So this is what Leslie Commerce looks like. Then, if we turn our attention to my left-hand side, which be on your right-hand side when you're watching the screen, is the Centlivres Building, also named of one of UCT's vice-chancellors. This is actually where the School of Architecture and Planning is based there. And it's actually one of those buildings which I always laugh because lights are on in this building 24/7 for people who are engineers. I think I should have brought my bulky setup because now I think the wind has picked up. So if you hear the wind, I do apologize in advance, and also apologize for this video for being way longer than my previous videos, which is why actually I also need to cut it into 3 parts. So all that you see now is going to be part 1, and then part 2 will be touching middle and lower campus, and then part 3 will be the satellite campuses. We will walk inside the Leslie Commerce shortly, but I want to move on so you can see all the other structures that are up here. So then the next building, greyish building here, this is the Humanities Building. So it's actually one of the buildings which has a very unique history at UCT. Because this building was actually was the Humanities Building, and then was named the Neville Alexander Building, and then renamed back to Humanities Building because a new Neville Alexander Building was built next to our office at Lower Campus. You will see that one on the next episode. That's where the School of Education actually used to be situated. Then they moved to that Neville Alexander Building, and this one came back to become again the Humanities Building. I see also philosophy moved, because philosophy actually used to be by P.D. Hahn, then they moved back here. No, philosophy has been here. Psychology is by P.D. Hahn Building. So this is what the Humanities Building looks like. So it's also another 1960s kind of looking design. And then one thing that if you were at UCT maybe up until 2013, 14, 15, is you might not recognize is that South Stop for the UCT shuttle, no longer called the Jamie Shuttle now, it's called UCT Shuttle, is actually situated right there where the Dean the Dean Street shuttle used to be. Now you might ask or wonder what happened then to South Stop, where South Stop used to be. This beauty replaced where South Stop used to be. This is called the new Lecture Theatre Building. Basically this is a state-of-the-art basically multi-purpose lecture theatre, which is actually also used to host massive events. It's way more modern than what you saw at Beattie, and unfortunately now the doors are closed because again, by the time I'm shooting this, it's weekend, so I'm gonna actually try and see if I can go against the window so I can kind of see, peep inside. Yeah, so this is like the ground floor study area, and then there's a bathrooms, and then just above it there's another foyer and a lecture theatre for you. So if you remember, this is actually where there used to be a small house here, and then we'll climb up the stairs to get to where South Stop German Shuttle used to be. That has moved basically to this side where now South Stop is situated, and then from this angle, this is also when you can see the other side of Centlivres Building. So this is literally the side where the lights never turn off. They're always on, I believe, 24/7. It's during the day now they're on. Designers never stop. They're on and 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 on. Okay, so now we're gonna walk inside Leslie Social, because we're gonna be climbing towards the buildings up top there, so I can show you also how that space looks like, because this is a comprehensive kind of introduction to campus, and hopefully it does help you so that when you do come here, or if you're currently here, you're kind of more acquainted to how the space looks like. So I'm going to try as much as possible to use elevators, because I don't want to be huffing and puffing while I'm trying to shoot a video. So now, what I like about this when you build a building on a high elevation is the fact that when I'm here, you're looking here at a ground floor, so you're also going to see basically what a typical old lecture theatre looks like. But where we need to go is the 5th floor of this building, where something funny or cool, depending on how you say it, happens when I get to the 5th floor of this building. So you might be wondering what's inside Leslie Social. These are the departments that are here. So again, remember, the coloring of the letter doesn't matter. What matters is the background. The blue, that's humanities, that's commerce. So that's also all situated in this building. Then you'll also see that they're saying that this is actually all venues at UCT are equipped with induction loop. So for people who are using a loop system basically with their hearing aids. So okay, yeah, this is actually what a typical small lecture theatre looks like. Just need to try and get the lights on. So we used to use, I see now they've actually, wow, so they actually put sound deadening, so they've kind of modernized the lecture theatres, even though they're still quite, they're quite old. They kind of modernized it. Now they've sound deadening, basically to help basically with, so that, especially with people with hearing problems, so that you don't keep hearing this echo, so that the sound is much more direct. And judging by what's on the board, it says Confucius, so I assume philosophy was being taught here, and a bit of stats. That's stats, yeah, looks like it. Yeah, so this is what basically a typical lecture theatre looks like. There's also a projection system, and actually almost all the lecture theatres at UCT, actually the classes are recorded online. And the interesting part is actually, many people thought once you start recording these classes, students won't attend. Turns out actually students do attend when you when you record the class, because then they get to participate a lot. So yeah, this is basically what a typical small lecture theatre looks like. So it's still nice wooden desks, and also the nice swiveling chairs, and then that's also another emergency exit. So let's go to the 3rd floor of Leslie. And therefore, this is what the third floor of the Leisure Social, or the inside of Leisure Social building looks like. It hasn't really changed that much, except for that pillar there. If you were here around the 2010s, you remember there used to be a nice colorful coded LED lights that were going on there. So that is no longer there. And then right behind me, some of you may remember, this is actually where it used to be a Nedbank branch. It used to be here. So if you were here, you remember the Commerce Comlabs actually used to be in Leisure Social 4th floor. It moved to basically here. Also where UCT Radio used to be, again around the 2010s. So this is now a full commerce lab. Then we also have the south side computer lab for what you call this thing, for humanities student, and then a massive space which is also used for events and also as a study area for students. So yeah, this is one great building. And one day, actually, yeah, I'll try and digitally zoom in, but that corner there, one day I will tell you a story about that corner and how significant it is to my life. Okay, so again, we are on the 3rd floor, going up to the 4th and 5th floor of this building. Yeah, no huffing and puffing because the lifts or elevators don't work here. So I have to resort to manual climbing upstairs, and today it's one of those days I don't feel like doing. But you know what? Because I'm doing comprehensive tour, I have to do it. Okay. Actually, we are here. So we are on the 5th floor of Leisure Social. Again, clue here what I was talking about is elevation. So yeah, we're on the 5th floor, and then all it takes is us climbing a bridge. Oh, that's the backside of the new new lecture theatre. You can see it there. That's where South Stop used to be. It's no longer there. Sorry for huffing and puffing. Again, I'm climbing stairs. So the old Com Lab used to be up here these days. Remember, we were on the 5th floor. Crossed the bridge. We are on the 2nd floor. But while we're on the 2nd floor, it turns out we're actually on the ground floor. Come on, dynamic range. Look. Yeah. So it turns out we're on the ground floor. Remember? Ground floor. We're on the 2nd floor here. How do you know that it's 2nd floor? So at UCT, the number will always indicate what floor you're in. You cross the bridge. This is the footbridge. You're on the 5th floor or 5th level of Leisure Social. Yeah, level 5. Great. Then, what do classrooms look like? So they're usually also used as a study space and for tutorials. So some students do take over. So this is what a typical classroom looks like. Nice and intimate, because some classes, as I was saying, there might be a 400-seater, 200-seater, but to have tutorials of 10, 20 students, it's much more manageable. Okay, so let's keep exploring a bit of the Leslie Commerce building. I'm not gonna climb all the way inside, but to all those who do accounting, commerce. This is basically your home. You might remember this one during your student days. Okay, then now we're gonna go outside. Oh, wait. How can I forget the Stanley painting? So this is where the African studies, African gender studies are situated. This is the Stanley Herman's painting, which actually took 2 years to paint, but he never finished the painting. Started in 1990 till 1992 of painting it. And I actually still don't know the full story of why he never finished the painting, and this was the last part of that painting. And yeah, also because of the African studies is also here, because then we also have the Center of the Center of African Studies Gallery is also situated here, which is why we have this massive drum right here. So more study spaces. We're gonna be going now outside. So again, we are still way up high. So see now, you kind of see more of yellow because Faculty of Commerce is situated as the Leslie Commerce Building. Again, another 1960 kind of design. And then the Harry Oppenheimer Institute building here and the Kaplan Center, they're all situated out there. So one thing actually which is quite unique about this area here are these trees right here. So these trees were actually planted to mark, each tree literally symbolizes a decade of UCT's existence. And UCT actually now is almost 200 years old in a couple of years. UCT officially started in 1928, so you can calculate. And then right here, this is actually the new Snape Building. So you might remember the old Snape Building. This is the new Snape Building, and then right there, that's the new engineering building. So again, I think this was demolished. The old one was demolished around 2012, I think, 2012 or 2013. The old Snape Building to have this new one, and then again, this is still part of the Leslie Commerce building. And then for all our engineers, especially civil engineers, you'll remember the space very well, the Menzies Building. Inside though, it has changed up a bit. I'm going to try and also enter there so that you could be able to see. But what the new Snape Building, which is new but it's still going now under more refurbishments, has also a nice library learning center here. It's a massive space for students actually to do more learning. Want to try and enter the Menzies Building. Oh wait, so you can see how far we've walked. So that's the Beattie Building right here, and then this is the Ahrens wing from the back side. Yeah. So we walked all the way down there to up here. Now about to walk through Menzies Building, so you can actually see basically what the changes were inside. Okay. So if civil engineering was your thing, you'd remember these very well. And this is what a medium size lecture theatre looks like. Still again very iconic with the wood projector system. And then you'll see this one has a P2Z camera. So this is what I meant with classes being recorded. So the nice thing about it is that the system can actually also track, automatically track the lecturer as they're moving around basically within the teaching space. And what's more iconic, as much as technology and everything, there's still a chalkboard. That's so cool. That's what typical about engineers. And no, I am not recording this video at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. It's later in the night. So, myself, this is where actually is there someone here. So this is where actually I also used to attend my geology classes. I'm trying to find the actual lecture theatre, but oh, actually it is this one. It's just that they've changed the desks. Memory. Because gosh, it hasn't been that many years. Yeah, it has changed around a bit. So, and then the cool space that I actually wanted to show you that has changed a bit inside Menzies Building. Actually reminds me of John. What's John's last name actually? One of the most passionate engineers at the time. What's John's thinking? Oh, this is the new Food and Connect now within the foyer of Menzies and Red Lab. I'm thinking, and guess what? Because they're engineers, they get the most fancy of what do you call this thing? This was actually a student project. Then now the alumni who are actually doing this, and now they have like a very fancy machine up here. So yeah, this is what typical Menzies look like. So yeah, now moving on towards Snape Building. So they still kept this iconic footbridge crossing in that area there. So this side is actually the new side of Snape Building, but they still kept this is basically what the old version used to look like, so which I can show you in pictures. But then this is now the more newer side of the Snape Building. There is then also a very, very funny story basically. Not sure how true it is about Snape Building, where Professor Snape here at UCT, who also, I think it was the early 20th century, adopted a son whose name was David Potter. If you're Harry Potter fans, no, that's funny. Or is it a coincidence? Okay, so now we're still walking, I think this street, if I remember the name, it's called the Chemistry Lane. So if we go below, that's actually where the library lane is. And then we'll have here the library side. So this is what the back of the library looks like. Because then when we come back, I actually think whether I should have started the chemistry building, but it's fine. Either way, it works. So we're gonna walk, and then we're gonna have the Immelman building, which again, if you remember, when I was talking about the fire and the whole restoration that was going on of some of the footage that was done at UCT. Oh, I see now that work is complete. This is where the space that they took over, the Immelman part of the library, and this is what a library from outside looks like. I will show you though some pictures. And then most people don't know about it, the dungeon actually at the library where you can walk down. So that's the space that they used for the restoration of the films after the fire. And then this is also the loans desk inside. And then now we're about to approach actually the building where that gave me my degree. My other degree, not really know about it. Waiting for this thing, for the HDR, or the high dynamic range, to keep up. And this is, I'm not sure what they still call the Shell Environmental and Geographic Sciences building. But yeah, this was basically my home when I was still a small student. And by small, I mean like, when I was still, because then I could run all the way from my residence up the stairs through here to the EGS building. So this is where I literally spent almost all my time as a student. Yeah, it's actually quite unique because it's actually one of the only few buildings where it's only limited to the students that are studying there, because there's quite a lot of, most of our lecturers there actually were researchers. So there's quite a lot of research that was ongoing research as we're studying. And then right here, this is the library. Now we're on the 6th floor actually of this building. So the Hlanganani area is actually what's used as a study area. Started a couple of years, just early 20s again. So that's what now this space is used for, 24-hour study area. And then if we look around this side, this is where actually the Student Union building currently is now. It used to be at Otto, then it was the early 90s. It moved to what's called the Biko building. At the bottom, where I showed you earlier in the video, that's actually where the food court is situated. And also the disability unit is also situated right here on the 6th floor. And the Department of Student Affairs is also rightfully so situated in this building. Then right up top there, that's where our SRCs are situated. And then we have Hoerikwaggo. So you might see the orange color. That's usually for what we call CHED, or the Center of Higher Education Development. So the Hoerikwaggo building, this is where our career center is also situated at UCT. It's actually some nice lecture theaters up there. So we're literally almost high up top. I'll try when I'm editing this video so that I can be able to see that Devil's Peak is actually peaking right up there behind. And then don't ask me why, when I was still a small student, that's actually the first ever mountain I hiked before Lion's Head and Table Mountain. And then also just above it right here, that's where the UCT Tennis Club and the tennis court are situated. So these trees in summer are usually very, 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 very green. Yeah. And then now we're going to be seeing the top side of basically the Hahn Building, where again the the science faculty is situated. So showed you the bottom side of it. This is basically what the top side looks like. And then another thing actually that is quite amazing, especially for students, is having a dedicated student wellness center, the Biko Clinic, basically, which is situated also right here on Upper Campus, as many actually of our students are at Upper Campus at any given time. And then this is the backside again of the Leslie Social Building. And then on half and puff, walk all the way up here now towards the Chemistry Building. So this lecture theatre here, at least now they have electric shutters, because it used to be awkward while you're sitting there. And there's people walking up here trying to catch a bus at UCT's West Stop. So again, you might notice that the campus, yes, my watch, I've been walking for a while, that it has changed quite a bit. More and more trees down. Yeah, because of the fire, it took out quite a lot of these trees. So, quite used to be a lot of students who used to run up here trying to catch a Forest Hill Jamie shuttle when West Stop used to be operational. West Stop is no longer operational at all. So this is again giving more airtime the EGS building. So, rumor has it actually, I'm trying to bet to see Miss Sopichi's poster, which was posted in 2013. It's 11 years. If bits and pieces of it still survive at West Stop, and chances are actually it's still there. So this is what used to be West Stop at UCT, but it's no longer used now as a way of trying to save more fuel, or instead of buses having to come all the way up. So it used to be a very also nice, fun, social place, and then at night it used to be dark. And guess what? 11 years later, their posters are still here. This was black. This was Khabo. I only remember Khabo and Ati as the people who were running. Then so they made these posters that have survived for 11 years. So whoever made their posters, yep, they did well. So this is the chemistry building. So if you were here around 2007-8, yeah, around about when this building was constructed, it's still here standing, and still looks quite new. And again, there's another walkway to UCT staff parking, and the tennis courts, and the beautiful picturesque mountain view behind. Okay, at least now we get to walk down a bit. So from here already you can see the view up there of the Cape Flats. I can also see the airport dead straight ahead, and then the iconic stadium, Athlone Stadium. And then the building right here, as you can see from the back, is the building whose roof was temporary since the 1940s and then just stood as it is. That's the Sarah Baartman Hall. That's the back side of it. So yeah, it's now the chemical engineering building. So we're going to be walking through this one towards the new engineering building. So, as much as they like to rename things, UCT is also quite lazy when it comes to naming things. Everything's just it stayed like, they just say it's new, and it stays new kind of like forever. I mean, the new science lecture theatre, before it was changed to new lecture theatre, to Chris Hani Building, it had that name since the 40s all the way up until after late 2010s, when I think actually it was the likes of Lwazi and them, Lwazi Somia, who actually ran to make sure that that building is named Chris Hani Building. And then walking now in the dark alleys of Snape Building. So this is basically where, through this lecture theatre, where you walk towards that bridge. And this is what now the new lecture theatre. What the? There's a black cat. There's a black cat. Oh, you can't see it actually because it's too overexposed in this area. But there's a black cat walking around here. So this is what the new engineering building looks like, in the Snape buildings with the lecture theatres there. Still see there's people studying. So yeah, country there. And then I don't have access inside the engineering building. Otherwise I'd show you how it looks like inside. But this is what now this space looks like. There's the black cat. Psst. Why are you running away, cat? Yeah. So, this is the new engineering building. I don't know why. It's like a new building thing. That Snape and the new engineering building are actually being refurbished, even though they're quite fairly new buildings. So now we're a bit up top, so if you're hearing wind noise, again, I apologize. in advance for that. So, dead straight up ahead, what you're seeing there, that's the UCT access control. So if you're new staff or you're new student, that's actually where you'd get your access card at UCT. And then here, this is basically a typical parking slot at UCT. And then you'll see it has here a red triangle, or sometimes it will have a red square. That means that's actually for red parking bays. So those are usually preferred parking bays. They're expensive because you also need to pay per monthly. That's also exclusively only for staff. There are student bays that are usually unmarked. So you have your yellow bays and your red bays. So if you're new staff, you can choose either red or yellow bay. And interestingly enough, the building that I'm showing you again, this is where access control and UCT traffic department is situated. And then right above, just hidden behind those trees right there, is the UCT Educare Center. So, and then now this is where you can actually see where we were before. There's a social. Sorry, not there's a social, there's the commerce side. So this is where buses used to rush through here. And then as a student, you'll be rushing down, trying to get to where South Stop used to be. Yeah, to get literally to a lecture. You have to get a bus shuttle. Yeah, so yeah, it was engineering mall, chemistry. Chemistry was on the other side. The road is chemistry. This is engineering mall, and then the next one will be Library Road. And that's the traffic department up there. So, if you're visiting, these are visitors parking here. If you have a disc, don't park here. You will be fined. If you don't have a disc, don't park here. Don't park on those red bays or yellow bays there. And then this is the back side of the new lecture theatre. Doesn't look as nice from outside, but it definitely looks great inside, if you catch my drift. Anyway, that's what the science lecture, the Humanities Building looks like. And then this is Library Road. This is also when you want to access, basically, this road runs all the way towards, what you call this thing? It runs towards the Sarah Baartman Hall, and actually just also underneath that bridge, the one that I was actually walking through that bridge there when I was crossing from Leisure Social to Leisure Science. This is where also last year there's a video, I don't know what for. So Idris Elba was here. He was shooting something there. I have no idea, but people said, yeah, they named the name of the show. Then, yeah, this is the new lecture theatre. So, South Stop actually used to be right here. Yeah, this is where South Stop, well, a small portion of it still exists. But this is where South Stop used to be. And then right about here, you'll be chilling. And it used to be so nice because you'll be catching the afternoon sun. And while watching, having a nice view. So this is basically what's left of South Stop. There used to be a house here and a stairway climbing up towards this, and then obviously this is an access controlled area for vehicles. And then yeah, a very nice view. And then this is where the old Rhodes, what you call this thing? The lion, zoo actually used to be. I heard also till like the 60s. And another thing actually, which is actually quite unique that most people don't even know about, is that UCT actually is partially or literally inside the Table Mountain National Park. So that's why you can actually do much building around here because it's a national park. And then what you see there on the other side, that's what a typical student parking lot looks like. Then now we're going to be making towards the two residences on Upper Campus and what's also interesting about them. And then from there onwards, we're going to end part one, basically part one of 3 of the comprehensive UCT campus tour. Now we're walking down where the new lecture theatre. Remember, I was right there, all the way up, then we're back again. So now, with the power of editing, I'm gonna be at Residence Road so that you can be able to see as I walk basically towards the residences. They were actually officially the first 2 residences on Upper Campus, basically on campus, even though College House was actually originally the first residence, basically, afternoon, it was actually the first residence at UCT, but this is before when UCT was officially called the University of Cape Town. Then it was later moved to Lower Campus, but what is called our Upper Campus residence, formerly known as SMARTS, was actually officially the first residence with Fuller, basically to exist on campus as it is today. So yeah, let's zoom in there. So this is what the bottom side of Centlivres Building looks like, and you'll see some of your structures actually could still be here. So yeah, this is basically the behind the scenes side of the Centlivres Building. Sorry. Yeah. Then again, more parking lot. So one thing also about campus is that UCT campus is actually quite open. So again, in areas like this where it's fairly quiet, it's always recommended not to walk alone, especially at night. But yeah, campus is relatively safe and patrolled. But again, if you're walking here, you need to be kind of be more aware basically of the surroundings. Also, this is a one-way road, so you always, if you want to cross the road, you always need to look behind you, because this is typically where cars will be coming at. And this is again the backside of the Beattie Theatre Building. Then another place that most people typically don't know about is the Fuller Hall Garden, which now seems to be, I think there's some sort of a barricade. So most people don't know about this space, that it exists, but it does. Oh, they've already barricaded the dumping area. But this is the Fuller Hall garden. So this is the backside of what it looks like. Yeah. So yeah, but most people don't know that this area does exist. But yeah, it does. Okay. So again, during summer months, this is all green. This is basically what you call this thing? Why do I always keep saying backside? But yeah, behind the backside of Fuller looks like. Yeah. So usually the nice thing about it, being an older design raise, this one and the the Upper Campus residence, is that the rooms are quite spacious, because literally was built early in the 20s. So yeah, you have much more space than the newer residences. The newer residences look more modern, but you have more space here. And this is the dining hall, basically, or fuller hall. As you can see, with that noise, they're already preparing basically for dinner. So typically, upper campus residents, students, they eat their dinner, well, all their meals here at the Fuller residence. So yeah, the upper campus. Also, I always need to remember. It's no longer used to be called SMART. Okay, upper campus residence. Yeah, this is where typically. So they'll eat this side, and then that one is usually used the dining hall for events. Yeah, and then this is again a visitor's parking right here. This view, as I get closer and closer, it will be much more familiar to people, especially those who are fans of Netflix. They'll be much okay. Yeah, because there's a typical show. There's a show, can't name, don't want to spoil it, but there's a show about students which is shot there. But this is the Fuller Hall residence, which is actually a twin building of the upper campus residence building. So again, when you look at the design, it's sort of like that whole old European kind of design. So there is also the movie, I can definitely name it. So okay, I think I can spoil the movie, but I can't spoil that show because that show is still ongoing. Okay, my camera is refusing now to switch back up, so I can't see my framing. Hopefully you can see. Oh, there we go. So if you watch any of the Kissing Booth movies, both, I think it's 2 of them, just watch them and see if you recognize this area right here. And then if you watch Netflix recently, let's see if you can recognize this area right there. If any of you are just busy, again, UCT Day coming up. If you just search anything that says that has to do with UCT, this is the view that you'll always see. The beautiful Sarah Baartman Hall, behind it, Devil's Peak. And then we have the AC Jordan building on this side, and the mathematics building inside. So this is basically also where I spent my days as a student at UCT. And then, yeah, that side, some of my good friends, Abotlali, Mabin Sobo Palma, Anastasia, they all used to stay that side. And yeah, this for me was my one and only residence here. It used to be called Smartsville. Again, can you name what's the name of the series I keep mentioning? That's actually this is basically the setting that is used. But yeah, this is basically what the upper campus residence. Oh wait, the thing is still here. There used to be a cafeteria here. No smoking. Oh yeah, there used to be a cafeteria where we would buy snacks, and then one day, this is actually where he used to sit, his favorite desk, as a receptionist. Yeah. And my first room actually was right that one there with the white curtain. I think it's D20, D15, or something like that. Yeah. But that was my first room. Then we have the Menzies Building right behind it. So, and there's also a number of actually car commercials which are usually shot here at the residence road. So yeah, commercially this area, they like it a lot. And then there's also, I think it was a BMW advert, which was also shot right here with a futuristic set backdrop right there. So this is basically the only two residences that you'll find at Upper Campus. If you can hear me through this wind. And then we're coming here to the Memstone. So this is actually one area that if you stayed in either residence, you will literally know or remember or have memories of you typically sitting right here and enjoying the view, especially at night. It's amazing. I'm actually not knowing, this is actually the memorial stone of all the UCT students at the time who fought, UCT students and staff who fought in World War I and World War II. So while we're right here, this actually might be one of the last few times you actually ever see the Newlands Stadium, the old Newlands Rugby Stadium. It's literally right there. Now it's literally left, because now rugby has moved to the new DHL Stadium, Cape Town Stadium. And then right here, actually, this is where the first sword tanning was completed of Upper Campus. It's actually not the original place where it was done. It was actually done under the summer house, because that was in July, and you know how it is in July in Cape Town, it rains a lot, so that's why they moved it right here. So if you were again a staff or a student at UCT back again from late 2015, beginning of 2015, there you might remember here when it was full. Again, this is where a plinth of where what's his name, Rhodes Statue used to be. So yeah, that iconic image, first of all, of protest, started by the likes of Tumani Mapwele and more. This is where it used to be, and then now the students have kind of taken over this space over this plinth. There also used to be somebody actually created a black shadow painting of what the statue used to look like. Then when we moved away from that, we have the iconic Green Mile of UCT. So this is the home of the UCT Ike Tigers. So this is where they play. So yeah, that's the A field there. And then this is, for me actually, when I came to UCT, that's actually where I had my freshers braai. But for most people, this wind is too much here. Would have had, if you can hear me through this wind, their freshers braai right here. But this is the Green Mile, and it's not a mile long though, but is it? I'm not sure, yeah. But it's always green, hence it's called the Green Mile. And then you have the M3 freeway just behind that, and then just behind the trees you have the presidential house, and then right about there, that's the Kremalo building. But again, this is literally now, then that's the UCT Sports Center there. If you were a student at UCT, you'd have written at least one of your exams right there. And therefore, and just like that, after a very, very, very long episode, I think this is actually the longest episode of On The Road with Lwando. That was literally a full comprehensive tour, one basically of 3. This is a full comprehensive tour of Upper Campus. So if you can tell me basically in the comments basically what you have enjoyed, and what, if you've learned something new, especially about Upper Campus, please leave it in the comments. Yeah, if you've made it this far, thank you very much, and I hope this was very, very helpful to you, especially if you're a parent, a prospective parent, or a student thinking of coming to UCT. So this is basically what Upper Campus looks like. The next 2 episodes will feature Middle and Lower Campus, and the final episode of this series of UCT will be the satellite campuses. So I hope I've earned your like, and if you're new here, and I also hope that I've earned your subscribe, basically to help the channel to grow. This has been Lwando. So this, yeah, see, I can't even remember now my own outro, but this has been On The Road with Lwando. Yeah, stay safe out there, stay curious, and again, stay beautiful. And this is On The Road.